A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4.
Yes, you're right, sir. There are professionals in government, there are engineers, there are builders, there are countless number of professionals. But I think there is something that happens to people when they become civil servants that takes away their professionalism. I don't know whether it is the environment or the well, I'm not even so sure it's the salary. But the problem that I see, whether it's the salary or that thing, motivated. There is a motivation issue here. And I think one of the reasons why we introduced what I talked about earlier, examination, continuous assessment in the system, to ensure that at all times they are really on top of their game. They're not. We have a lot of people who are certificated but unskilled. Yes, they carry that thing, engineer, BSc, whatever, from all sorts of places. But when it comes to really, really delivering, they're not up to scratch. And that's where your proposal did not quite work. But we do have a responsibility to make sure that they work hard for the money they earn. How best to do that may well be utilizing them when contractors come. But we also have what we call, we've just set up a public works corporation in Ekiti now that can compete with outside contractors for these jobs. So it's more of a direct labor kind of approach. They'll be able to prove themselves that way. But the experience has not been inspiring at all. We just have to. And if you have a time with it, there's a mentality that is so pervasive. There's a civil service mentality that says, oh, all this your grad. Maybe you have 4 years, you soon go. We are here. We are not going anywhere. Shout. We'll pretend now as if we are doing what you say you want us to do. It is so debilitating and so perversive in the system. And it's not just in Ekiti. I don't want to isolate Ekiti and say it's us. But it is changing. I know it's changing in Lagos, for example. The mentality has changed over time. Once we're able to match incentives with performance and punishment with acts, we will get the results that we want. And that's what we're doing now. The Igbara question. I want to thank you for your own commitment to the people of Igbara, and I don't want it to stop because things are changing now. It's a culture, and we need to ensure that reorientation is the response we give to it. I do not think the NECO and WIFE results that will come in Ekiti next year will be as bad as what we've had in the past, because we are reorganizing the entire system. And we have a fantastic education commissioner. We have a very good person who heads the basic education board now, whom we just appointed. And I've decided that for the jobs that are most critical to me, you will not find politicians there.
Amen.
The commissioner is not a politician. She doesn't even know what politics is. She doesn't carry a party card. Although I forced her that she must become a member of the party. But the point I'm making is that, and I don't want to create an impression of a false dichotomy between politicians and technocrats. I'm a politician. I'm proud of being one. but I also come from a technocratic background. So, which one do I put forward? Is it my political head or my technocratic foot? It can end up being a very false dichotomy. But having said that, what you do tend to notice when a politician, especially a grassroots politician, is put in a position, the political antenna takes over. And where tough decisions are necessary, you begin to color it with R. If I remove the brother of my sister from being something here, or my political leader is there, we can't touch that person, even though he's bad, he's from the governor's village. Then you run into a cul-de-sac, and you're not going to achieve the results that you want. But once the vision is clearly laid down, and you can find people to articulate it consistently, without fear of failure, then one will get the results. People will be angry. A lot of people are angry with me now for sacking local government directors of administrations and pansets, because it's never happened like that in Ekiti. That somebody will come and say, hey, permanent secretary should come and take exams in order to be promoted. So I know that I have a lot of enemies. But I have said to myself that to do this job, of course, the most critical support I need is God.
Amen.
But in the physical realm, it is boldness. Because there is nothing they're not going to say to you. And even though I've been here over the last 2 days, the announcement of the dismissal of some of these senior people was just on Thursday when I was leaving. I know what I've been receiving on my phone. And I know that my window to offend people is very small. I have probably less than a year. So let me take all the tough decisions in 1 year, and then I will start begging. But the decisions would have been taken. The results will be seen. The money we save would have gone into capital projects. Everybody will see the results. You're absolutely right about the security issue. Everyone ought to be concerned. I think we went to sleep. Let's just put it that way. I'm not a security person, but I have to take responsibility. But you also need to know the awkward situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria. I am called the Chief Security Officer of Ekiti State, nominally speaking. But I do not have the authority to order around the Commissioner of Police if he does not take the concurrence of his Inspector General in Abuja. And that's where the problem comes. Your own, whether it's county chief of police or sheriff or whatever, is accountable to you in. It is not Obama that decides what. That's the awkward situation we found ourselves. And the only way to deal with that is to ensure that we do what we've been campaigning for. State police, and 2, alternative security mechanisms, including volunteer forces within communities and constituencies. Because they know their communities better, and they're the ones who can really respond quickly. I mean, we've taken measures to improve communication, have bought vehicles, security vehicles for them. I only just bought how much personnel there a few days ago for them. But that will not solve the problem unless we change the accountability mechanism for the security agencies. It's only the way we can deal with it. But that's the answer to your issue. We are concerned about it, and we continue to push for that. How does one get involved in ICT? Well, we have a directorate of ICT, and if you go to the state website, you can contact them directly. But you can also write to me. I'll leave my email afterwards. I'll forward it to them. You're absolutely right about agricultural preservation strategy. Yes, we can have all these things produced and then get rotten somewhere. Right now, we have under construction in Ekiti one of the largest silos in the country. If you are going on the road to Ijon, you find a 100,000 ton silo for grains. And that's partly what informed that. But we also have a joint initiative with the federal government to use the new airport space also along that same road after Fayemi University for an agricultural export processing facility that can be an air conditioning, a food conditioning processing center, and then the airport can be a cargo lifting airport. But that's something in the future. We are very focused on the preservation as well as the production.